Darwin Gross, the Director of Engineering for Cycling 74. We're here at NAMM 2009 to show off a really exciting product for us. It's called Max for Live, and it is basically an integration of the Max programming environment with Ableton Live, which will be available with their version 8 of their software. We're really excited about it because from our perspective, it allows the user to be able to create new things, create options for their production environment that may never exist except in their own minds. This gives them the tools to be able to create new, different, and exciting things. In addition to the creation environment, we also provide some content that's specifically high quality effects and instrument content. And we also provide tutorials to help people learn how to program in the Max environment using the live tools that they're already comfortable with. If we take a look at this live project, I actually have a Max patch running inside the device area of an Ableton Live track. Unlike working with plugins, what this allows you to do is actually put your patch contents and your patch user interface directly in the device view of Ableton Live. However, you're obviously going to want to edit it, and this is a very small editing area, so it's not really conducive to doing good patching. So if you click on this button, what it actually does is it brings up a Max development window, and in this case we have everything typically available in Max. So we have our whole user interface palette, we have all of the objects available to it, and in fact this is a standard Max editing environment. However, when I'm working here, all of the audio that would normally be piped into the device is now piped into Max. Not only the audio, but any MIDI events or any automation is automatically piped between Ableton Live and the Max development environment. After I make some changes, I can close the window and I'm back into Live with all my changes active immediately in the device. Now, some devices can be very simple. In this case, it's a very simple ring modulator that I've created. Some can be very complex. Here's an example of one of our larger plugins that's included. It's some content that does buffer shuffling, and you can see that I have here a fairly complex patch with a bunch of sub-patches. All of your typical Max programming techniques can be used within the live environment, but also you can use the live environment, work that other people have done without having to know Max. So this is really valuable for both sides of the equation, people who are hardcore Max users and people who are hardcore live users. I spoke of some of the stuff that's, some of the devices that we provide. There is one item called the buffer shuffler, which is a real-time stereo shuffler. It kind of combines some of the functionality of beat repeat with some of the grid editing tools that are pretty comfortable for people to use, and some of the randomization techniques we had in our radial product. We have a second device called Loop Shifter, which is actually an instrument that implements some of the classic sounds of the Max and MSP environment. You can use it to manipulate and kind of deconstruct loop playback, but you do it in real time. It's connected to a keyboard. It takes many of the things that people are used to doing with Max MSP and puts it under fairly easy control. All of the deconstruction is done through a simple JavaScript object, which you're free to edit. All of our devices that come with Max for Live are all editable by the user, so you can use them as a launching point for doing interesting new work. The third thing, and probably the most, the one that most people desire, is a step sequencer. We've created a very unique step sequencer. On the surface, it looks similar to the MIDI editing tools that are on a typical MIDI track in Live. However, you have randomization techniques, you can drag and drop. It works like a hardware step sequencer, except the way we've implemented is that it's actually 4 step sequencers running in parallel each can have their own time base, and each can have their own loop points. So you can get continuously varying soundtracks based off a very simple sequence setup. It also responds to real-time MIDI control, so that you can do pitch transposing, time shifting, and also sequence on and off selection using a standard MIDI keyboard. But all of these devices are just kind of entrees into what's available with Max for Live. Probably the most interesting for a lot of people will be the ability to very easily drop in a brand new patch. If you just create an instance of a device in Live, you get a very simple patch to start with, and you'll find that very simple Max programs translate into very powerful and interesting and creative production tools using Max for Live. Thank you very much.